So what really is a meta ad strategy? The reason why we want to run ads with the strategy is because we want to stop wasting money running an under optimized ad with low CTR, for example, which is low click-through rate. That really means people are not interested in your ad. It's not effective. It's not connecting with people and people are not interested in clicking on it. Or probably you're running ads that is bringing in the wrong people, which I've seen a lot actually. Like those clickbaity ads, everybody thought it's working. Everybody talks about it, but it's just not working because you get a bunch of wrong people into your funnel, into your website. Eventually, you're actually wasting money. So when you run an under optimized ad, bringing in people who are really not interested in your product or services or low quality people, at the same time, you're not really following people who are interested in your product or services with an effective retargeting strategy. I mean, although it's just top of funnel and retargeting, there are really a lot of things that goes into the meta ad strategy formation. And that's the reason why I put together this meta advertising masterclass to help you understand what is a meta ad strategy, how do you build one, how do you execute it, and how do you get better ROAS and return on investment from your meta advertising activities. So when it comes to meta ad strategy, what we are really looking at here is this is a plan and structured approach to run and optimize Facebook advertising, meaning we are coming in with a plan, from all the perspective, from the objective selection, the audience targeting, the ad creative and all that, everything is planned and structured because we know what we want to achieve and we actually have a plan to achieve that. Basically, this involves multiple tiered campaign designated to specific types of audiences. So basically, a meta ad strategy involves multiple things, such as first, it actually starts from the objective and optimization. Like for example, some of my clients see very good result when they are actually optimizing for add to cart when they are running an e-commerce store. And then after that, that's for top of funnel, meaning, instead of optimizing for purchase, they go for people who are likely to add to cart because that actually indicates a very high intent because the hypothesis that we are building here is not everybody, in fact, almost nobody will be buying from you the first time they see you. But if we are able to bring in people with the purchase intent, historically recorded by Meta, we are bringing quality people to our, funnel. So from there, we are able to convert them at the retargeting level. That's why when it comes to the T2, the retargeting level, or even the reminder ads, which I'm going to show you later, we actually convert them higher. So, at the top of funnel, we get high quality people in, although we do not convert them. We may see low ROAS and all that, but at the retargeting level, we convert them, we see higher ROAS. So when we balance up, we have the result. Aside from that, the target audience and segmentation is really important. You really need to know who are the people that you want to target at the top of funnel, and we have a strategy to bring them in at the lowest cost possible. And then when it comes to retargeting, who are the people that we should be retargeting, for how long? And is there any possibility that we want to retarget them again in the future? So these are all the planning that we will go into, basically to build a optimized meta ad strategy. And then, of course, the ad creative. When it comes to top of funnel, the goal is to get people in at the lowest cost possible. And we always aim for creative that has high CTR. And then we always aim for lowest, CPC, which is the cost per click. CTR stands for, click-through rate. So just in case you're not familiar, but don't worry. Towards the end of this program, we're going to talk about optimization and scaling, which is part of the program anyway. So creative plays a very significant role in all levels of campaigns. But we need to know what to talk about at the top of funnel. And when it comes to retargeting, how do we convince people with the right messages? So these are all the plannings that has to go in place, right? And then after that, of course, the budget planning. How much are we spending at the top of funnel? How much are we spending at the retargeting? How much should we be spending reaching people who have actually purchased from us before or actually submitted as a lead way back? Because for some lead gen, because this is a very generic way of talking about, the meta ad strategy, but for certain lead gen campaign that sells, like a longer sales cycle services. For example, if you are an agency, the lead that you get in today may not convert, but 1 year down the road, when they are ready to switch agency, if you are being remembered, you might be, being considered. So you need to actually appear at the right time. But we want to spend minimal to appear strategically in front of this audience who are likely to convert, basically just to remind them about us and just to make sure that when they're ready, we are in their mind. So that's the whole idea. And of course, basically the optimization and scaling which is a huge part of meta ad strategy, because whatever we build is actually based on hypothesis. Like we talk about the objective, the target audience, the ad creative and all that, but we can only find out if the strategy is working by hitting the market. And the numbers will tell us that the audience, the customers will tell us whether is our plan working. So it's really whole thing here that I'm actually talking about. And we are going to go through every single one of them to help you build an optimized meta ads strategy. Okay, to help put things into perspective, I'm going to show you a few ads, okay, that are designed according to a meta ad strategy. So as you can see, this is the first ad. It is a top of funnel ad. TOF stands for top of funnel, meaning this is an ad that is supposed to go out and reach as many people as possible at the lowest cost possible. And of course, we do hope to get good conversion with this, but we don't really beat ourselves up to it. Like, for example, if this is an e-commerce, as I mentioned just now, when it comes to e-commerce, we do not expect the top of funnel campaign to get a lot of conversion, good conversion, because nobody would actually buy the first time they see your product, but we want to get these people in at the lowest cost possible. So the effectiveness of this top of funnel ad really matters because, yeah, we really want to get people in at the lowest cost possible. But when it comes to lead generation, it may not be the case because really lead generation may not need that much lead. I mean, as in like the retargeting journey. I'm not saying that you don't need. I'm going to show you some example later, which some of the, my lead gen clients actually benefited from a very robust retargeting journey to remind these people. But then most of the time, when it comes to lead generation, the top of funnel should work well in terms of getting the leads in. So this is how it works, right? So when it comes to top of funnel, basically we have a few criteria over here. First thing first, the ad itself would have a few audience qualifiers. I mean, when it comes to audience qualifiers means we actually define a set of actions that determine or define the audience as somebody who have interacted with the ad itself. So over here, as we can see, we have people who have engaged with the ad, view the video if there is one, click on the ad, of course. I mean, when it comes to engage and click, that means basically everything you do on the ad itself counts. Even you like the post, you share the post, you play the video, you click on the ad, you go on the landing page, and of course, if you sign up, which is, as we can see, this is the lead gen campaign over here. So when you sign up or you purchase, I mean, similar goes to, e-commerce, whereby engage, click, view, and purchase, or even add to cart. I mean, go to the landing page itself, everything. So any actions you take, we actually qualify you and we would actually exclude you from seeing the same ad. This is a very important concept. Why? Because a lot of ads, a lot of campaigns out there without exclusion would actually be, you will be showing the ad repeatedly to the same audience who have clicked, who have interacted. Because when it comes to meta advertising, you have to really understand when you define an optimization, say, for example, you want to get people who are likely to sign up to your lead form, for example, Facebook will zoom into a bunch of people who are likely to sign up to a form. And Facebook has very strong data as in like who are the people who are likely to do that. And they will zoom into this bunch of people. So when you don't have exclusion, and when Meta has a very strong signal that this is a bunch of guys that would actually do this action that these advertisers want, they'll keep showing the ad to them. So that would result to budget waste. Okay? You keep showing the ad to people who have clicked or even people who have signed up. You're not going to get them to sign up again, which, we don't want that, right? We don't want these people to keep coming back just because they keep seeing the ad, or you might annoy them. So basically, we need to have exclusion. And then on the other hand, you might be asking, what about those people who did not sign up? Then we would have this retargeting ad. Basically, a retargeting ad is to really come back to these people and say that, hey, don't you really want to level up a Facebook advertising skill as this is us? And when it comes to e-commerce, you keep showing the same product that he browsed or she browsed to them, but one thing that is really important when it comes to retargeting is we want to retarget them, okay, at the right time, during the optimized duration, as in, for example, most e-commerce businesses shouldn't retarget audience for more than 14 days. I mean, let's say, for example, if you are doing a retargeting campaign, targeting people who visited your product or your website in the last 90 days, for example, my question to you would be, what do you sell that requires, an audience 90 days to consider whether to buy from you or not? So it's actually a very simple question. Do you need that? If you don't, then you probably have to optimize. Oh, some of the audience, I mean, some of the clients may come in and say, Jason, some of my clients convert later, like a month later, 2 months later. They are. Then my question to them would be, how many percent? If you have significant percentage of these people come back a month later, then we need to redesign the campaign in a different way. We can have retargeting campaign coming back after 1 month, and we rest for a month and come back another month, which is totally possible. But we do not want to complicate things here. I'm going to discuss the strategy later on to you guys. But then again, when it comes to retargeting, you want to make sure that you are retargeting at the optimum duration, whereby when it comes to e-commerce, I usually recommend 7 to 14 days max. Same goes to lead gen, to be frank. Especially lead gen, actually, you don't really need to retarget much, because especially if you are a lead generation that is offering some free lead magnets or free consult and stuff like that, then I would say you don't really need to retarget them for that long because it's not beneficial. So basically, whether they actually sign up, of course, they sign up, they exclude, but we will only retarget them for an optimum duration, whereby it could be 7 days, it could be 14 days. So when that is set up, then you will have a top of funnel and retargeting. When we combine these two ads creates a loop which will turn this campaign into an evergreen campaign. Let me explain how. So first, we have the top of funnel campaign going out, constantly reaching new people. And when they click, when they engage, when they sign up and whatever, we would not show them the top of funnel ad anymore. I mean, you can choose not to show them for 30 days, 90 days. But to be frank, it really depends on what you sell. But usually it's okay to come back to these people 30 days or 60 days later. But some of my clients want to exclude for 180 days, which is possible. So it's really up to your campaign design, the strategy design, and your whatever factors or consideration that you have. And of course, we will retarget people who have interacted with the ad but yet to purchase or yet to sign up, but only for a very specific duration, like 7 days, 14 days. And then after that, if they take the action or not, basically, even they take the action or they do not take the action, we would actually exclude them from seeing both ads altogether. So when this is set up, it becomes an evergreen campaign that constantly bring the core audience in, reels the audience in, and exclude them from one, and show them the other retargeting ad and exclude them from one. So this become an evergreen. So this is actually the simplest example of a Facebook ad strategy or a meta ads strategy. So this is what I mean by making sure that we're not wasting the budget doing the wrong things. So when this is set up, we still need to go through optimization. Like for example, we want to make sure that the top of funnel ad is the most effective one with the highest CTR, and we want to make sure that we are using the best convincing messaging at the retargeting ad and stuff like that. So it takes a bit of optimization, and we may have multiple top of funnel ads specifying different USPs. And like, for example, some of my e-commerce clients, they will have multiple star products going out, and they will have multiple retargeting ads. Because let's say if you come in through product A, right? I want to show you product B, C, D, E, F, G, like category B, C, D, E, F, G. So these are all the things that we can do with an optimized strategy. And of course, there's another thing that we should do, which is a reminder retargeting ad. So for this case, it could be maybe we can come back maybe a month later to these people who have signed up and say that, hey, thank you for joining the training, and here's the replay if you missed it. Or you can actually do, if you are e-commerce, you can say that, you purchased this a month ago, and we would like to tell you more about our latest promotion. And like you could do something like, oh, we miss you after 60 days. If they don't, come back, you can give them another voucher to reel them in again. So the reminder retargeting ad can be very powerful, which I'm going to show you some of the examples of the structure and all that. I just want you to start imagining about the possibilities of having an all-rounder strategy, because basically here's how it works, right? We want to have a strategy that aim for higher average ROAS. So here's what I want to show you over here. This is the real case, right? In the middle, you see the TOF. This is the top of funnel ROAS. It's already high, but of course we want to be higher. But the top of funnel is getting us at 7. So we spend 80% of the budget at top of funnel usually. I'm going to tell you more about the structure and the budgeting and all. But we would usually aim for a more moderate ROAS at the top of funnel. And our retargeting, when we are spending lesser, yet it's performing so much better in getting us better ROAS over here. And when we balance these two campaigns up, we have a very satisfying average ROAS, which is the one at the bottom. So that's what I want to show you when it comes to a meta ad strategy. And of course, moving forward, we're going to talk more about what are the elements that goes into designing and optimizing a meta ad strategy. And yeah, let's do this together.